show is sponsored by HiveMind CRM. It is more than just a CRM. It is a real estate and business mastermind that comes with an all-in-one CRM. You can have unlimited websites and users. You can call, text, RVM, and email all in one user interface. And you can set up custom automations for any type and multiple businesses. 65% of companies start using a CRM system within the first 5 years of business. Once implemented, the HiveMind will save you on marketing, give you more time, and make more money. One of our users had his first $100,000 month using our system in June. We want to see you automate and accelerate your business. Text us at 210-972-1842 for future meetings and, of course, to get our $1 course on how to make more than 6 figures on one land deal. You can schedule your free demo today at hivemindcrm.io.
All right, we're here today with Alec Lebeck from Phoenix, Arizona. So we have a slightly connection through connection relationship. So we're going to kind of cover that and a lot of other things. But one thing I really want to focus is I love talking to young people killing it. That's what it's all about. You're young. So I love talking about young people killing it, and we'll kind of talk about that. So let's talk about, so last person I interviewed, I asked him this question, and he's like, I've never done that before. So sure. I don't know. I'm kind of curious what this is. So the question is, how long or what did you come from? Like a lot of people come from construction, or I came from trucking. The last person I talked to is like, I've been an entrepreneur since I was 12. I'm like, okay, I never heard that one before. So how'd you end up doing real estate, and like what'd you do prior to this, and how'd you end up where you're
at? Well, it's kind of like it started very early. My parents both were realtors, and that's how they met.
Oh, nice.
And then, Dad was never really around, but my mom, she was always very, she'd push at me the idea of buying a house and renting it out to my friends in college and, doing that whole thing. And then when I got into restaurants, I was, working with some friends over there that left the restaurant industry to go into real estate. And it kind of like clicked for me, because I was like, wait, you guys are in your young 20s going into real estate. I thought you had to be old to do that. So it was a common misconception that I didn't realize. And then, I don't know, one day I just hated my job a lot, and I got fired 5 days after I signed up for real estate school. And so I just never really looked back. And here I am in real estate 4 years later. So
that's kind of cool though. You're agents. So, and you're an agent too, right? Or was?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still licensed. I just don't really consider myself an agent anymore.
So I had this conversation with, because I've met one of my buddies here from LA, and he's an agent too, but he only lists his own properties. Like he doesn't do any like showings or nothing.
Yep.
And I always joke around with him because he's like, "Oh, who's an agent here?" I'm like, "He is. He's an agent." Like, no, I'm not an agent. Don't tell anybody I'm an agent, bro.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that too.
So I'm always like pointing a finger at him because like he's an agent. He's an agent.
Yeah, I just started like I am a licensed agent. I have a traditional real estate team, but it's not like we do like big numbers. It's just strictly for our own representation. But now a couple of my agents, they've started taking on my traditional clients so that we can still, make sure they're getting taken care of.
Yeah, and that's the wearing many hats.
Yep.
You gotta wear your agent hat. You gotta wear your investor hat. You gotta wear your flipper hat. And It's just juggling the deal depending on what type of solution they need.
Yep.
So we're problem solvers. So you wear many hats. Whereas me, I don't even want to be associated with agent. I'm like, yeah, here's my agent buddy. He'll take care of it. It's just a funny dynamic.
Yeah, it is.
With agents. So I never asked this, but how old are you?
Just turned 27 last week.
27. See, I love talking to people younger than 30. I turned 30 this year, so I'm like,
do you really?
Heck yeah. I turned 30. So I'm like, I love talking. One of the persons that interviewed, one of my, he's like 22, working on his first flip. I'm like, let's go.
Nice, dude. That's awesome. Starting them young.
And it's really kind of crazy because like when I was that young, I didn't even know what I wanted to do. Like when you're so young, like you started when you're 23. I started my first business when I was 25. So it's just been kind of you find your own place eventually.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, you do.
And it's like when you were in that stage looking back at it, you're like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess like you said earlier, like I got fired from my job and I was already in real estate. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess we'll go down this path and see where it leads.
Yeah, I don't know. I hated having a boss so much that I just said I'm going to do whatever I have to do to figure this out and make it work. And somehow I got some deals through before I ran out of money. So here we go.
That's what happens. So let's talk about your first deal. So were you an agent with your first deal, or would you
My first ever deal? Yes. And then even when I was first starting in wholesaling, I was still more of an agent then, but I started transitioning at that point when I got my first wholesale deal.
So how long were you an agent before you started doing investor stuff? Like 2 years in, 6 months in?
Probably like I started getting my feet wet 6 months in, but I didn't do my first deal until probably about a year in. So I was an agent for about a year before I got my first wholesale deal, but I started like marketing and consistently doing it for the first like 6 months or 6 months after I started.
No, that's good. I like laying out perspective because some people think it's all rosemaries and daisies and they're going to fall into a deal and it's going to be a $10,000 deal and it's going to be a happy miracle. And
I mean, my first one was 13, but that was, like I said, a while into me spending money on marketing. And so it was really just a payback deal.
Yeah. Payback for all the countless hours of education you went through.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's awesome. So let's kind of so agent kind of went down the entrepreneur route, 4 years down. What is something that you've learned that you wish you would have learned sooner in your real estate career? What's a big one?
I would say managing finances.
Okay.
I went through some pretty nasty years of financial difficulty, and then I'd get some money, and it was this up and down cycle all the time. And I wish I had learned like more about the profit first model earlier on, so I could start segmenting my money out and making sure that I was budgeting and accounting for things that were going to be a part of the business instead of just money in, money out all the time. It's okay, money in, some stays, the rest goes out here and the rest goes out there, and then this gets saved.
So now you operate efficiently off of that with the profit first?
Yeah.
The one thing a lot of wholesalers that get stuck in is that roller coaster. They're like a high paid employee. Yeah.
I was there for a long time. I still work a lot in my wholesale business, but it's gotten a lot more automated in the last year, 2 years.
No, that's the best part. So you kind of have to you get your troubles and like you find holes as they start leaking money.
Literally.
Yeah. Literally as the holes start leaking money, you're like, man, that's a big hole in my business, and you're trying to plug it with something. And automation usually helps.
Yep. That or, auditing your finances too. That really helps.
Do you have does somebody in-house manage your finances? You have like a bookkeeper, CPA or something?
So my bookkeeper, so I have my accountant has a bookkeeper that works on my files. But I do like all our, in-house management of where the money goes into different accounts and all that.
Yeah. Do you have like a partner you work with, or are you just like the visionary and you kind of hire out the rest, or do you have like a main partner you work with? So
I did have partners for a long time. And then last year I went through another split with a partner, and I learned through that I'm not really obviously a good partner, so I should just figure it out and do it myself. I hired out a team this last year, and now we're rocking and rolling pretty good.
No, that's good. There's a transition part where some people, they do need teams, but not everybody does, and you can actually hire people in that space to actually fill that spot for you, and then you can just work it that way. Yep. So it comes into management, team management, and leadership as a whole.
Yep. And that's been fun learning.
No, it's a process, man. Like everybody thinks entrepreneurship is all Lambos and stuff, and they don't see the they don't see the breakup partnerships and the deals that fall through, and somebody snaking you 10K. And you're like, you just gotta let it go sometimes.
Yeah, I've had all three of those happen.
But this is like the reality is that, like I said, everybody thinks it's, oh, I'm gonna be a millionaire, and I'm like, yeah,
It
you
takes
might.
time.
Yeah, it takes time, it takes consistency, it takes finding the right people to do business with, and make sure you're doing it operating efficiently and properly. It's like you said, you could be operating efficiently, but if you have a hole in your money bin, it's just eventually draining you out.
That was PPC for me. We shut that off. I did a financial audit last year. This is my probably my biggest failure last year was I started running PPC, which for those that don't know what that is, it's running ads in Google, pay-per-click ads. And so we got that up and going. And I wasn't really set up for it how I did it at first. I went nationwide, and at the end of the year, I had my assistant go and run me a report on like how much we made versus how much we spent, which I should have done way sooner. And it was a net like $45,000 loss.
Ooh,
And I was like, yeah, no, we're not doing this anymore.
that's crazy. That's crazy. So, what were you doing last year versus what you're doing this year? So, you used PPC last year. Were you doing texting, calling, any of that? Direct mail?
Direct mail. So we were doing PPC and direct mail last year, and then I cut the pay-per-click, and then we went back to cold callers. So I have 5 cold callers now, and yeah, so that's really about the only change is we just switched those 2 out.
Yeah, you're only in Phoenix, right?
We're in Phoenix and Florida right now.
Phoenix and Florida.
Yep.
Okay. I didn't know you're in Florida, but I know you're doing a lot of stuff in Phoenix. You're all over the place in Phoenix.
Yeah, we have fun here. Yeah, it's more like Arizona as a whole, but most of our deals are within Phoenix. We get some in Tucson, some up north sometimes, but mainly Phoenix.
No, that's good. No, it's good. It's good to keep the diversity.
Mm-hmm.
Are you just doing single family, or are you doing other types of assets?
Right now, mainly single family. So anything from like SFR, single families, just regular detached homes, to condos and townhouses. Occasionally I do some land. And then right now I just closed on a lot for a new construction. So we're going to be starting to build a house out in Coolidge, which is south of the Phoenix Valley.
Okay. So you're doing a new construction build, your first one?
Yep.
So you're a big time flipper, right?
Yeah. Recently, yeah.
Recently. So let's talk about your flipping business.
Yeah.
So is that like, are you buying your own deals? Are you buying other deals from other people? Are you wholesaling?
Yeah. So right now, mostly we will either flip or buy from other people. Sometimes we buy from agents for our flips and for our wholesales, but we kind of do the same for the flips as well. I try not to buy our own deals that we generate direct to seller. I usually wholesale those out. Only reason being is it's quicker cash, and I can still get pretty decent deals from other people, and then I don't have to generate the marketing to do that.
Never heard that one before. That's interesting. So
yeah, it's backwards.
It is backwards. I've never heard that before. It's just, I don't know.
I do but I do some if they're just too good of a deal to pass up, and we really don't need the money at that point to, hit whatever goal, then yeah, I'll buy one of those deals. But then sometimes I'm like, we want to grow in this area, so I could use the quicker cash. We'll do that, and then we'll use that to do whatever we need to do in the business at that time.
The checks and balances of business.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of cool, man. So how many flips have you done as a whole?
I don't know, because I only started flipping probably like 6 or 8 months ago.
Okay.
I just got really bored of pushing paper around all day and sitting in my office. I needed something to do for a creative outlet, and then something for a project for me to work on specifically, because my team, they handle a lot of the acquisition and the dispo now, in the marketing in the back end. So I needed something as a creative thing for myself. And I think we've done probably like anywhere between like 9 and 12 since then.
Okay.
So I know we have 5 active right now. Well, 3 that are under construction and then 2 that are done and on the market.
So you're bored. Must be nice.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's been a good month.
No, it's crazy.
Today.
No, it's crazy that you're like, yeah, I'm doing flips because I'm bored.
I just need a new challenge. Like wholesaling, like I know the process is very simple. Once you break it down and like really develop systems and processes within the business, wholesaling gets very simple at that point, except for finding good deals all the time.
Yeah.
So I just needed something else.
Gotcha. So I like Phoenix because it's one of the nicest cities I've ever been to. Like Phoenix is, it's up there. It's up there. It's up there. It might be hot, but it's up there with the nicest cities as a whole. But it's kind of cool. It's a big market. So Phoenix is like the most competitive market out there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel it?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, we do pretty well, but there, occasionally we'll have a month where like, holy shit, we are feeling this. But for the most part, we stay pretty consistent and have fairly good deal flow. We have some that are longer in the pipeline, so it doesn't feel like we have a lot going on because there's some that we've had recently that have stretched out 6 or 8 months. But overall, I would say it is competitive as hell here. If I'm being really honest, it is sometimes like pull your hair out competitive because you'll try and move other people's deals sometimes, and it's like, oh, I have the same deal as this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy. So there's a lot of daisy chaining that goes on out here.
People look down at daisy chaining, but I feel like it's as long as it's done properly, it's okay.
Fair, yeah, and that's not where most of our business comes from. I wish it did because those are a lot cheaper to acquire those kind of deals than spending money on marketing and going the other routes.
Do you know what your cost per deal is in the Phoenix market?
I want to say it's probably like 2,000 to 3,000 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you knew it. I like asking like KPI questions because sometimes you know it. Sometimes they know it. And it's like, I have somebody else that handles that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's not my department. I'm not sure.
No, that's the funny part. Like, it's just, some people know the KPIs and other people don't. Like, I'm doing project management for the flips. I don't do that.
Yep.
This is one of those things that you can kind of dwell in your own space in the business, so you don't necessarily know all the details. Yeah. But stuff happens that the details are met.
That is something I would like to know a little bit better. I don't know, my assistant, she handles a lot of those numbers, and then I just know when the money comes in and goes out.
Yeah. How big is your team now?
It's not huge. I have 1 acquisition, 1 dispo, and then an office manager / assistant.
Oh wow, you're running lean. Are they all virtual or local?
No, we're all in-house. So we have an office in Scottsdale, and then we have 5 cold callers in the Philippines and in South America.
Okay, running lean.
Yeah, trying to lean and mean.
Very, very lean. Yeah. No, it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Do you have plans of expansion, or are you kind of comfortable where you're at?
Maybe like a leads manager and 1 more acquisition. But that would be once we really dive deeper into Florida and then 1 or 2 other markets. But where we're at right now, we just don't necessarily need it. My acquisition guy is pretty good at, picking up good deals. So we don't have to do quite as many tiny ones to keep everything, keep all the lights on.
So let's talk about the Florida market. How long ago did you start the Florida market, and how has that been working out for you since you've been in Florida?
Very recently, I would say probably within the last month. We're still gaining traction and building up our buyers list out there. It's completely different than Phoenix, because Phoenix, like, everyone's used to buying things at 70 to 80%. There, you have to buy things pretty deep.
Yeah, Florida's a hot market. We have a lot of people in Florida, and it's just we just moved a deal in like 24 hours in Florida. Our first deal in Florida, last week. Nice. So it's kind of. And we mostly do deals in Texas. So we're personally working on a flip here in California, working on a deal in Atlanta. So I'm gonna spread out everywhere. I'll spread out all over the place, but it's kind of cool, managing everything from anywhere. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. What is that like doing a lot of things in Texas? I've heard it's very competitive over there as well.
It depends where you're at. Depends where you're at and what you're doing. So we do a lot of land stuff, and there's
Okay.
not many people doing land, so we just kind of skate on by.
Land is that hidden gem. I used to do a lot of land stuff. Haven't been doing it as much recently, but very profitable.
Yeah, we like land because people it doesn't cash flow, so people are willing to let it go for cheaper.
I guess I never thought of it like that.
It's a tax liability every year.
True.
Every year. Every year. So people have been holding on for 20 years and they probably paid out so much a year in taxes. And if they don't pay the taxes, the state can come and take it from them.
Yeah, I have a problem like that on the lot right now. Yeah, so that new construction, we're actually in a little dispute on that one because there was a treasurer's deed recorded on it before we closed on it, but we've been under contract on it for like, I think 8 months.
Did title miss it? Title missed it. Oh no. Guess title gonna have to eat that one.
You're going to leave it up to the buyer to do your job?
Oh man.
Hindsight, I should have looked it up, but it is what it is. We're in the middle of it right now, so I'll keep you posted on how that goes.
No, it's just you can't do it all. You can't do it all. And when it comes to that stuff, it just they're title company. That's what they do.
I mean, one would think, right?
So that's interesting. So you're in a dispute with the title company. How much are the taxes?
I think there was like $6,000 in liens on it.
They missed those too?
No, they paid those off. They closed the deal.
Okay.
But somebody else somehow foreclosed on it before.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. So we closed on it with the seller that we thought it was.
Yeah.
But there's really another party involved now that bought the land in between me getting it under contract, paying for it to go through probate, and then closing it.
And they took ownership at that point. So now there's a dispute of who actually owns it.
Yeah.
Well, who got paid? Did the seller get paid twice?
No, I don't think the seller got anything from the other party, but they got money from me.
They got money from me. Real estate is all A, B, and C. There's no other issues.
And that was a left field one, but we'll get it figured out. I'm not too concerned about it. And the lot was pretty cheap. It wouldn't be a big loss if it was.
It's the curveballs in real estate are curveballs.
Fuck, dude. We had one earlier this year, and so a lead came in when we were still running pay-per-click, like at the very end of it. And so we get a hold of this guy. He tells us what he wants. We get it down to like I think it was 215 that we got it down to or something like that. Sold it in a day or two for like an $80,000 spread. I think it was an $83,000 spread.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're trying to get the payoff. And finally, I get a hold of this dude that sold it to this guy's dad. And then this guy's dad died while we were under contract with it. And so I get a hold of this said dude. He's like, no, I still own that. I never sold that property. What are you talking about? I was like, what? I sent him the deeds. He forwarded those to his attorney. He never sold the house. There was real estate fraud on that property. So our $80-some thousand deal went poof. It just disappeared.
Wow. That's crazy. I had a seller die under when I was under contract too. Like the weekend before it was closed, was like a $27,000 spread, and he passed away Friday, and we were supposed to close on Monday. And yeah, I was bitter about that one. Real estate's crazy. I'm just gonna say that real estate's crazy.
Anything could happen. There's a lot of bad that can happen, but it's such a fun industry because you never know what to expect with any of them.
Yeah. Each transaction is completely different, and if you get a good one A to Z with no issues, 6 months later, you know you did a good job. Because even hearing your stories, like even after it closes, there's still gonna be issues.
I like the quick ones that don't require any effort, but they're like huge deals instead of those little ones that you'll get.
Don't we all?
I always find the little ones, they have the most headaches with them. Usually.
I don't know. It's targeting. You gotta target bigger deals, bigger spreads. That way, if you come across bigger problems, you know at least your payday is gonna be bigger.
That's why we stopped doing nationwide.
There you go. So what was the biggest issue with doing nationwide? Like your close rate? You couldn't dispo the deals?
Yeah, it was just very sporadic where leads would come in from all over the country, and we just weren't properly set up for that yet, for dispoing them all. So it was just a challenge. And I also enjoy doing deals here in Phoenix with my friends. You know, they'll sell me a deal, I'll sell them a deal. You know, get to talk to them often. I felt like I was kind of like on a lone island when I was doing nationwide because I didn't have a huge nationwide presence.
You like the buddy system?
Yeah, I like the buddy system. We have fun here in Phoenix.
That's funny. The buddy system. And man, you live and learn, man. You live and learn through operating and failing forward and making mistakes and screwing things up and losing money and spending money on stuff you shouldn't.
All just an education. I didn't go to college. There's my college.
High priced education. So, what is a quote that is yours or somebody else's that you resonate with?
Live every day as if it were your last.
There you go, YOLO.
Yeah. Can't think of anything else right now off the top of my head, but I really like that one. I've been, I worked really hard for a long time and burnt out, and I've been trying to enjoy life a lot more because it's too short.
It's very short. And we're both still young, so there's still a lot of opportunity ahead of us. But the other underlying issue is that you don't know when you expire. So you always gotta enjoy the time, the money, the moment. You gotta enjoy the moment, you know.
Throwing that one back at you, reverse Uno. What's yours?
Oh man. Hey, you're not supposed to do that. This is my podcast.
Hey, I'm just curious.
I hear so many, and act with purpose.
Like that.
People take two things too lightly, and it's like my 9 to 5 days. You think everything's hard, and 9 to 5, you drive an hour to work or whatever, and your commute's everything, but you don't have the life you want because you didn't act with purpose. Dang. So acting with purpose kind of brings your reality right here. And it really creates limitless opportunities as well because you are acting with purpose. Yeah. So I commend everybody to act with purpose because you only got one life, man. You got to make the best of it. You got to make things happen. You got to make big goals happen, whatever that may be. And it's just you get perspective. When I quit my job, I had my wife was pregnant, and that's why I quit. Because I wanted to spend more time with her when they're growing up. So when she was about to have the baby, that's when I quit. I took a 2-week vacation, 3-month maternity leaving. Haven't been employed since, and it was crazy.
When was that?
My daughter's 4 now.
Okay, 4 years ago. Wow.
Yeah, so we started real estate about the same time. So it's just the realization that I didn't want to be away from my family, and that's why I started entrepreneurship. and that had a purpose now.
We met at Steve's meetup, right? Or at the event. And then we all went for tacos after.
Yeah.
At Local Patron. I remember that.
Jason? No. The short guy.
Which one? My old partner?
Yeah.
Nick Mason.
Nick.
Yeah.
Nick Mason. I was
close. Yeah.
Jason. I'm like, Jason? No.
He was thinking his last name. Rhymes with his last name.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, that's where we went. Yeah, we went out to dinner in Phoenix.
Yep. I think Dylan was there too, right?
Huh?
Dylan. I think he was there too with us.
I can't remember his name. I remember you two. We went out to dinner. That was 2.5 years ago. 2.5 years ago. So that's why I wanted to circle back because this is a lot has changed.
A lot has changed. Yep.
Many things have changed, and you get wiser as you get older.
That's the truth.
You get wiser as you get older, and it's an experience. So I'm really glad I've made the choices I have to get here, and the things I've done to get here. It's been pretty cool. But act with purpose. There you go. Bring it back.
Love it.
So are you a reader? Do you read books?
I do. Yeah, I try to read every day, weekday at least, for anywhere between like 30 minutes and an hour.
You're a better man than I am because I cannot find the patience to read. I'm sure I have like ADD or something.
I do too, but I don't know. It's my quiet time in the morning when I get to the office. I usually try and get to the office a little before 8 o'clock. My team doesn't start showing up until usually 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And so I read between 8 and 9 o'clock when our meeting is in the morning.
It's good. I need to do that a little bit better. But what are books you can recommend that have changed your outlook on business and life?
If it's real estate specific, I'd say one of the ones that I really enjoyed was Profit First for Real Estate Investors. It's a new one. I think David Richter is the author.
Yeah.
That one was really good. That was pretty eye-opening. Maybe not business-wise, but just life perspective. The Alchemist, that's probably my favorite book ever.
Okay.
Is Your Business Sick? That one was pretty good. I'm trying to think. There was a few others, but those are the three that I can think of right now.
David Richter. He's come up a few times. So I actually interviewed him about 2-3 weeks ago.
Did you?
I went to high school with him.
No kidding.
Yeah, he's a year older than me, and I went to high school with him.
That's neat. Small world.
Exactly, and the whole thing is that now I actually just hired him to do. He's gonna be my fractional CFO for my businesses. So I actually just hired him, and it's a 10 years circle. I haven't seen him for 10 years since I graduated high school.
Wow. So
I have friends from the past coming back. And not even friends, just people I grew up with, acquaintances. So it's kind of interesting.
That's really interesting. Wow. Who would have thought you guys are in the same industry?
Worlds away. Because I've moved cross country too. Did you grow up in Phoenix? So this is the question I like asking too. Did you grow up in Phoenix? Are you originally from Phoenix?
No, I'm from Minnesota originally.
So I always like asking this question too, because did you have like a huge growth experience leaving home?
Oh yeah. Huge. I was nothing but trouble before I left Minnesota. And then I got out here and I started kind of figuring life out and figuring out my own path. But yeah, it was probably one of the best things I've ever done was getting away from home.
I like talking about that sometimes just because a lot of people get stuck at home and they're stuck doing the things that they've always done.
With the same people.
With the same people they've always done it with. And there's like huge growth when you leave home. Huge growth. So I always like that question too. And it's so funny because you're like, I was trouble when I was in Minnesota.
Oh, dude, I was My poor mother, dude. Oh my goodness, my poor mother.
You should call her and apologize. No, it's an interesting epiphany that I tell this to because I talk to, not that I'm older, but I'm almost 30, but 18 wasn't that long ago for me, you know. I was
Mhm.
there. So whenever I talk to people younger than me, I'm like, dude, if you have the opportunity to leave home, just do it. Just do it.
I would encourage anybody, if they're thinking about it, if they've ever just wanted to go somewhere, just go.
Just go.
Just get in your car and go.
Just
One day, I got in trouble, and so I sold one of my cars, and I just told my mom I was leaving. She wanted me to go back to school, so I said, "All right, I'm going to Arizona." Good.
Look at you now.
Man, the first half of the drive was not easy. I wanted to turn around, but I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, it's I talked to I did an interview and he's like 22, 23, and he was from North Carolina, South Carolina, something like that. Might have been New York. It was somewhere down the East Coast. And he DM'd somebody on Instagram and he's like, "Yeah, if you move down to Florida, I'll hire you." And he ended up like packing up his shit and left like the next day at like 20.
Gangster.
But he's doing big things now, and it's just like one of those things where like just got to get up and go, figure it out. Figure it out when you get there.
Exactly. You never know like what can come out of that just one move. That's why you, like you said, act with purpose. Like everything that you do is going to lead up to something farther along in life. And so you got to make sure that you're making the right moves at the right time and you're in the right place at the right time, because otherwise you're going to miss opportunities.
The other thing is that sometimes when you're in the wrong place, you're not able to even perceive opportunities just because you're blinded by conformity or whatever, that consistency that you're in. So just by being pushed out of your comfort zone, you now see opportunity differently.
Yeah, I'm in one of those opportunities right now. I just moved into my new house today, so it's going to be kind of one of those weird things that kind of pushes like a new environment, new opportunities.
It's a good thing though. Change is always good. People that I think there's a quote that says that if you don't like where you currently are, you have to change the position you're in to change the scenery. It's something to that effect, where you always have, if you don't like where you're currently at in life and business, change the scenery.
Yeah, there's that, or there's another one very similar to that. If you don't like where you're at in life, move. You're not a tree.
There you go. You're not a tree. It's opportunity opens up. It was crazy because when I had my job, it's just like the job takes your best hours, so you're always just like, and then once you actually quit and you're working for yourself, like opportunity there, you're like a squirrel. Opportunity.
Not harnessing that squirrel sometimes.
And it's crazy though, because like now you see, once you leave your job and once you like on your own, you can see all the opportunity around you. And you're like, man, there's thousands and millions of people in that space where I was, and they can't see this.
It's because you're hungrier. You don't have a consistent, appetite being fed to you. You don't have money that's just like guaranteed for you to come every couple of weeks. So you got to figure it out.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting place, man. So I want to end it right here. So where are you doing deals? All of Florida, all of Phoenix, Tucson, and where can people send them? I got it right here.
So down below right there, acquisitions at lebeckproperties.com. That'll get over to my acquisitions manager, and from there we'll determine if we can do anything with it.
And what markets and what deals are you doing, man? Are you all over Florida?
So Tampa, Jacksonville, and Orlando, and then in Arizona, I'll look at anything statewide in Arizona.
There you go. See,
anything from single family condos, townhomes. We do some land every once in a while, whether that's infill lots or rural land. Occasionally multifamily. So anything of that sort, send it my way.
And you're a buyer. That's the best part.
True. We do buy.
Well, we appreciate your time, man. I hope hope we had a good time. All right, let me ask you this: how many podcasts have you done?
I think this is my 5th one.
5th one.
Yep.
Okay. I can tell you're a little bit newer. It's all
Yeah.
good though.
Yeah.
It's all good though. I usually ask this before. I guess we're still rolling, but I usually ask this before we start because sometimes when I'm talking to people that have never been on a podcast before, I have to like loosen them up a little bit. But it was good. It was good.
I'm just a little tired. Sorry about that.
You're good, bro. You're good. I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Just
you.
good to catch up with you, brother.
Hopefully we'll meet again soon, and I'll have to catch you next time I come to Phoenix.
Come out. Let's hang out.
The show is sponsored by The List Guys. Do you need more leads in your local or virtual market? 1 in 10 small businesses don't invest in any kind of marketing. The List Guys have over 35 plus list types to choose from, and you can mix and match any list or criteria. We also use the skip trace list and provide up to 7 numbers and email addresses. Every list you purchase will be scrubbed against previous purchases. The List Guys are here to save you time. Contact the List Guys today at www.onelistguys.com. That's www.1listguys.com.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
You bet.
Thanks for your time.
You bet. Take care.